And just so you know, that's Barbie videoing, not me. My eyes are on the road. Hands are at 10 and 2.
We must really want to see the manatees to go when it's this cold.
Hi, I'm Chuck.
And I'm Barbie.
And we're the Bowser Journal. Sorry, I had to drive. So today, we're going to Crystal River. We're going to go swim with the manatees. Now, I actually... Sorry, my tongue got in front of my eye tooth and I couldn't see a thing I was saying. This is actually the second week in a row that I've gone. I went last week with 2 of my boys, but Barbie was sick and couldn't go. So I'm going again this weekend. The sacrifices I have to make for my marriage. And go swimming with them again. So
I've been looking forward to this for a year.
So the footage you're going to see in this video is actually a combination of both weekends. So if you like our page, or you like our content, please hit the subscribe button and click on the little bell thing for notifications. We appreciate each and every person who watches our videos. Our favorite place to launch from when we go to Three Sister Springs is Crystal River Kayak Company and Dive Shop. They're a really great bunch of people there. They're very knowledgeable about the area. They're very helpful to help you launch your private kayaks. They also have their own kayaks if you want to rent theirs. They also have plastic covered maps which detail where all the manatee zones are. They do have a smaller parking lot, so make sure you get there early if you want to launch. Which brings me to another subject. When it comes to kayaking and swimming with the manatees, there's only a certain time of the year you can actually swim with them, and it's from November till March, I believe. So it means the air is going to be cold, but the water is going to be warm. Also, the best time to go kayaking and see them is during high tide. So make sure you check your tide tables. Let's go see some manatees. It's weird, I had to pull the battery out and put it back in to get it turned on. Ever since I've done the software update on this thing, it's been finicky. Huh? Yeah, I did that. This ranks right up there with one of our favorite places to go kayaking. The water's crystal clear, but you might want to try to avoid it on the busy times, like on the weekends, because there's a lot of kayakers on there and a lot of people kicking up the silt on the bottom. A couple other things you may want to know. You're going to get wet, so bring a dry set of clothes. And also bring something warm. We typically will take hot chocolate and put it in an insulated thermos. That way we have something warm to drink when we get out of the water. We've been there for 2 hours. No manatees yet. Last weekend we had manatees right off the bat. We're staying until we find manatees. The weekend I went with the boys, we got to see manatees right out of the gate. But when I went with Barbie the next weekend, the high tide was not in. So we had to go kayaking for a couple hours. And we got to see them out in the main area. But then we had to come back later when the tide came in and start filling up the springs. So we decided to go into these couple of places, check out all the wildlife. Barbie likes birds. So she got to see this blue heron. This is still one of the more beautiful places. Quite often I'll just throw the anchor down off the kayak and we'll just sit there and watch things go by and just watch the wildlife. And sometimes when you're just quiet, that's when you see the manatees. So then we went to the entrance. Now the way the Crystal River works is there's the river and then Three Sister Springs. There's a channel that you got to swim up to get into Three Sister Springs, and that's where the water is the warmest. And the manatees can't live in water below 68 degrees, so quite often they will swim up into the springs or to the entrance of the springs. That way they can stay warm.
So we're about to swim with the manatees. Dad's already in. The boys about to get in.
So the manatees can at times be very curious and come swimming right up to you. when you swim with the manatees, one of the things you got to remember is you have to practice what's called passive observation. You can't swim over top of them. You can't separate the mother from the young. You can't chase them. There's a whole video that you really need to watch if you ever decide you want to go swim with the manatees. Basically, is just stay still and watch them. If they're curious, they'll come to you. So you got to swim up the channel to get into the Three Sister Springs, and quite often you'll see all kinds of fish. And I'm not good with fish species yet, but it's just real interesting to see them. And then when we were swimming in, we got to see these 3 big manatees. And I tell you, the video doesn't give it justice. These things are at least 14 feet long, 12 to 14 feet long, and they are massive. And they swim right underneath if you're not careful. And that's kind of what happened with me coming into the springs. I was kind of swimming, didn't spot them, and they swam right underneath me to go past me. The weekend I went with the boys, they were really inquisitive. But when I went with Barbie, they were very sedate. There was a mother and a baby, and they would just lay at the bottom, come up and get air. And then there was another one, which I don't know how to tell male from female, but there was another one that was just kind of there by itself, and he would sleep, come up to the top, get some air, go back down, and they could stay underwater for a long time. I want to say they can stay underwater for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that, in total length. But these things are just majestic creatures when they swim by you. They're prehistoric looking, but they are just, when they swim by you in the water, you don't even feel them disturbing the water from when they kick their fins and stuff. I mean, they literally, it's like they go by you and you don't even know it, don't even feel it, unless you happen to see them. Recently, Barbie and I signed up for scuba lessons, as you can tell from other videos, and this is the first chance that we really got to use our masks and snorkels and fins for an extended period of time, other than the training sessions for the dive pools. And one of the things is, you know, if you've never used fins before, it uses some muscles that you don't normally use, so you can get, you know, leg cramps and stuff. So be prepared for that. But just the beauty of the water and just the fish and everything else, we just kept going and going and going, and the water's cool enough where you may or may not need to use 5mm dive wetsuits. I didn't use any. What you see me in is just a skins. It's a black fabric material that you wear under a wetsuit, and I was fine the whole entire time on both weekends. Barbie, though, went the first time, and next time she wants to use the wetsuit. If you're not a good swimmer, I recommend you use a pool noodle, or if you just want to be able to relax, use a pool noodle. They also make these inflatable snorkeling vests that you can use, and then you can just kind of sit there and float. That squeaking sound you just heard was the manatees communicating with each other. It's kind of weird. You don't really hear it when you're in the water, but when you're recording under the water, you definitely get it in the film. And again, here you can see some fish where Barbie had taken the GoPro and extended it out, and even though she was floating above, she was taking video of them real down low. I call this research for when I go fishing, so I know how to fish behave. And like I said, you see some really big fish too. So Three Sister Springs is 3 spring heads, and where the spring heads are, the water's really deep. You can't really tell here, but you'll tell in the next clip that's probably 25 or 30 feet deep. And here you can see a tour group that they were swimming, and just a couple of braver ones are trying to swim down towards the bottom of the spring head. So manatees are often referred to as sea cows because they only eat the seagrass and stuff off the bottom, so you don't have to worry about them attacking you or biting you. And it's not unusual to see manatees with scars from boat props and also barnacles on them. And then the fish will follow along with the manatees and literally eat the barnacles and stuff off of the manatees, even when they're sleeping. It's kind of funny to watch. And here's that mother and baby again, just so you can kind of get an idea for their size and just how graceful they truly are in the water. Typically the babies don't venture too far away from the mothers, although we have been kayaking a couple times and the baby would come up to my kayak. I'm assuming because my kayak is green and they like eating seaweed and stuff like that. But they're, you know, they can be very curious. They tend to be more curious than the adult manatees. So we're here in Homosassa, Florida on the Crystal River, and we decided we wanted to go swimming with the manatees, so I took the boys with me. What was your first experience like?
Super gnarly.
Just super gnarly?
Amazing.
What was your most favorite part of the day?
Probably when swimming with like 8 manatees at once.
What was your favorite part of the day?
All of it.
No, you gotta pick one part.
Probably when the humongous manatee swam under me and I got to like pet it the whole time.
So would you rate this as a life-changing experience?
Yeah, I think I would. It was like swimming with prehistoric animals.
That don't kill you or eat you.
I still wasn't 100% convinced, but I was worried that they were gonna splash their tail and like knock me out. Yeah, definitely life-changing for sure.
So the next time you're in Central Florida, take a break from the theme parks and come visit some of the natural beauty we have. And make sure you visit Crystal River Kayak Company and Dive Shop.